Hello friends and potential friends. Well, today is Monday, November 7th, 2022. It's approaching 11:30 in the morning and it's about 85 degrees out here. And things are growing. Out here on the front porch, I'm starting to get some salad fixings. I can pick a few leaves off here and there, but haven't had a complete salad yet. But it won't be much longer. Got my mint at the bottom. Nasturtiums are coming up pretty nice. And then various forms of lettuce. And it looks like something might have been eating the ones in the top. I have to keep an eye out for that. Over in the next tower, I've got my garden peach tomatoes at the bottom. Starting to see a few signs of blossoms coming on. And then above them I've got various flavors of Swiss chard all the way up to the top. And they're all popping up a little bit. I'll be getting leaves off of them before too long. And hopefully I'll be getting some tomatoes off of these guys so that I can save the seeds from them. But that's where we're at in the front yard. Let's head around to the back and see if anything's changed back there. Well, there's one thing that's changed. These baby possums are getting big. Yep. He still doesn't know what to think of me. Let's see, container gardens. Not about to change here. Still got a few pineapples. Still got a couple of green stalks I need to put together. Still have avocados and comfrey and mint, ginger, turmeric, pineapples, pineapples, pineapples. I did build one more salad tower. This guy's got marigolds in the bottom tier. Then I have 2 tiers of Swiss chard, and I think it's 3 tiers of various types of lettuce mix. So I'll be able to get salads out of that one pretty soon too. And they're coming along nicely. Clearly I put a few too many seeds in some of these pockets. The strawberries are still trying. I'm going to keep them back here, and I may try sprouting a few more seeds here pretty soon. And in the container garden, pineapple's doing good as expected. My sweet potatoes from slips are still coming along nicely. Tomatoes are doing real good. These are the Romas. And I've got little tiny tomatoes all over the place in here. Yeah, there's a few more there. Some more over on the other side. Blossoms everywhere. Yep, these tomatoes are trying their best to produce. And with any luck, I might get some tomatoes out of them. I'm mainly just out here there haven't been a lot of changes out here since the last video I put out. But it seems that our weather guessers have got another storm headed this way. And at the moment, they can't decide what it's going to do. And I sure can't. So I figured I'd come out here and do a quick walk around and just document how everything's looking before the storm. And if I'm real lucky, it might look the same after the storm. But we'll just have to wait and see on that. I got some more comfrey in here where I used to have okra. And more tomatoes. Yellow pears, ponderosas, Everglades, Homestead. I seriously planted too many tomato seeds this year. Now this is my second planting of okra. And I've been debating pulling it up, but I noticed this morning it's still giving me more pods. So Maybe I'll let it stay for a little while longer. I do have this one monster pod that I'm planning on getting seeds out of, so I definitely want to leave that one there. Over in the worm bin bed, I have planted out a couple of rows of cabbage collards, a couple of rows of, what's that? Oh, red Russian kale. I scattered a bunch of lettuce seeds next to the bin, and they're all coming up nicely. Then I've got a few rows of Swiss chard out here. And then at the end over here, I've got a couple of plants of the curly kale. Oh, and incidentally, could someone explain to me why the sweet potatoes from seed are trying to take over my whole garden? They don't produce tubers, and right now the leaves are not looking all that great either, but they sure like to grow. And I noticed the other day over here in the okra bed, at the very far end of the okra bed, I have sweet potatoes. And there's another one right down there. This is a good 10 feet from that bed where all the sweet potatoes have taken over. But they apparently want my whole garden. There's some down there too. I might have to get serious about doing something about them soon. But meanwhile, we got more tomatoes. These are the Floridad tomatoes down here at this end. And I noticed this morning that I've got a couple of tomatoes starting up on them. If I can find them. There they are. There's a couple right there. Quite a few more blossoms. Then we have some boxcar willy tomatoes. No blossoms on them yet, but won't be long. I see they're trying. Yep, they're trying. Then we've got some Amana tomatoes. And then some beefsteaks. These I got out of a tomato I bought at the grocery store about 2017. I did finally clean up the purslane bed and got it topped off this morning. I've got brassicas in the lab that'll be coming out here. But I got cabbage, several varieties of cabbage. I've got Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and cauliflower in there. They're too small right now to come out. And I'm going to wait on this storm anyway to see what it's going to do. Meanwhile, I've still got plenty of tomatoes I can look at. There's some more Romas. Those were the first ones that formed, and they're getting pretty good size. There are a lot of other tomatoes hiding in here too. These ones over here are the, what are these? Garden peach. And I've got a few tomatoes starting to pop up on them as well. Now these ones I won't be saving seeds from because they're too close to my other tomatoes. But I will be eating them. And then finally in the back row here, I saved some of the purslane just because I want to keep it around. Not that I really think I could get rid of it. But then I've got some more of the garden peach tomatoes growing here. And they've got some blossoms on them too. Should be seeing tomatoes there before too long. And then the patience garden. And right here and right over here are the last two stalks that have popped up. Those are just in the last few days, so it's continuing to grow, and I am continuing to put off cleaning it up. But that's just a quick documentation of what the garden looks like before this storm they've named Nicole comes to visit. They can't decide whether Nicole is going to be a tropical storm, a subtropical storm, could even become a hurricane before it gets here. But right now, the weather guessers don't even want to guess. They currently have named it as a subtropical storm. It got its name last night. And it is due here sometime Wednesday, I believe. We'll probably be starting to feel it Tuesday. But it's due here about Wednesday. So anyway, there's my before image. Next weekend, I guess I'll see what I can do about an after image. And incidentally, if I can figure out how to do this, I was looking at my satellite loops a few days ago, and I found something rather unusual that I don't think anybody has been talking about. See, there was a classic image of a hurricane up in the Arctic a few days ago. And if I can put that clip in here and make it work, I need to show you what that thing was doing, because it impressed me, and I'm glad it was thousands of miles away, because I sure wouldn't want a frozen hurricane coming to Florida this time of year. But I'll see if I can get that to stick in here. Now, let's see if this is going to work. This is one of my favorite satellite loops from the NOAA website. I like it because it gives me a good quick overview of everything that's happening in the Atlantic. And about 4 days ago, I pulled this up, and I happened to notice up there in the top right corner, if you can see that up there, that is a classic frozen hurricane. It's all the way up in the Arctic, but if you notice, it's pulling in clouds all the way across the United States. It started up down in the South Gulf of Mexico. That's what's left of Lisa, and it's being sucked into that thing. Not only that, the other storm we had out in the Atlantic, its leftovers are right up in here, and that's being sucked into this thing. And on top of that, down here in the Caribbean, this is what later became Nicole, and parts of that are being sucked up into this thing. I mean, you can see the bands, you can see the eye. It's a classic hurricane, except that it's frozen. All this blue down here, that's ice and snow. And nobody's talking about it. So, I don't know what to think. But I'm just glad it's not down here near me. And with that, I'll see you next time. Maybe we'll get an after image, and hopefully it'll look the same as the before image.